sous-préfet d'un Konsamba premier qui prend les commandes. Il lui a été prescrit justement le combat contre l'insécurité, notamment le retour à la paix en Konsamba premier. Voilà quelques directives données par le préfet du département du Mungo au nouveau sous-préfet. Voilà pour le sommet de votre journée. Une fois de plus, bonsoir. Merci d'être des nôtres pour cette édition d'information bilingue. La première partie est en langue française. Et là, nous parlons du CHAN 2021 avec, après la victoire des Lions indomptables hier face au Zimbabwe sur le score d'1-0. Des rencontres sont prévues donc ce dimanche au stade du Japoma, c'est ici même à Douala. La première rencontre Niger-Libye s'est achevée il y a quelques instants sur le score de 0 but partout. La seconde rencontre qui débute à l'instant et donc il s'agit donc de la RD Congo contre Congo. Et là, il faut simplement rappeler que les Lions indomptables, le prochain match des Lions indomptables est prévu pour mercredi 20 janvier prochain contre le Mali. Parlons de cet accident, la circulation survenue donc sur nos axes routiers dimanche, donc des morts. Il y a à Ebombe, situé à quelques kilomètres, justement à 93 km de la ville de Douala. Un accident de la circulation a fait 5 morts, bilan provisoire donné par une source sur les lieux du drame cet après-midi. Ce sont là quelques images que vous avez donc sur votre petit écran. En ce moment, cet accident survenu donc cet après-midi. Le premier accident, il faut le rappeler aussi, le premier accident, cette matinée du dimanche, s'est déroulé sur l'axe Douala-Yaoundé également. Le choc frontal survenu entre un véhicule de marque RAV4 et un gros porteur a fait 6 morts, selon des sources de la gendarmerie nationale. Les mêmes sources précisent que les victimes étaient donc dans le petit véhicule. Parlons de toute autre chose à présent, la lutte contre l'insécurité, le combat contre le désordre urbain et notamment la culture de la paix pour le bonheur des populations. Ce sont là quelques défis qui interpellent le nouveau sous-préfet d'un Konsamba premier installé à peine dans ses fonctions, Cyril Ndjemba et Carole Zepet.
Les défis sont énormes pour Ousmane Daouda, sous-préfet de Konsamba premier, qui vient d'être officiellement installé à ses fonctions. Entre la lutte pour la préservation de la paix, l'insécurité, le trouble à l'ordre public entre autres, le nouveau sous-préfet de Konsamba premier a du pain sur la planche pour améliorer les conditions de vie des populations qui ont soif de développement.
Nous avons présenté la ville de Konsamba et ses réalités au nouveau sous-préfet qui est certainement à la hauteur de la tâche puisque la très haute hiérarchie l'a choisi pour venir commander en Konsamba et pour venir poursuivre tous les grands chantiers commencés par son prédécesseur et initiés par son Excellence Paul Biya.
Cette cérémonie de passation de commandement a été l'occasion de rendre un vibrant hommage au sous-préfet sortant pour ses précieux et loyaux services rendus aux populations dans des conditions pas toujours aisées.
Avec l'intime honneur de recevoir l'administrateur civil principal Garba Bakari, le grand commis de l'État, pétri d'une expérience avérée, en prenant le commandement, avait sur ses épaules le poids de l'engagement de confirmer, à travers sa façon d'être et d'agir, tout le bien que la nation et à travers elle, le chef de l'État pensait de lui. Il avait la responsabilité de situer les uns et les autres sur la force de son expérience. Il a fait son temps. Merci.
À peine a-t-il pris fonction qu'il rassure déjà à Konsamba premier de faire de ce territoire un véritable cadre de vivre ensemble.
Et nous comptons nous donner à fond pour que Konsamba premier puisse vivre dans la paix, dans la tranquillité et afin que le développement soit promu dans cet arrondissement.
C'est au pied du mur que le maçon sera jugé.
Tel que vous le dites, Carole Zepet, parlant de la société civile au secours des veuves, alors qu'elle représente donc une part importante dans la gente féminine au Cameroun. Les veuves qui font face à des difficultés entendent d'ailleurs bénéficier des capacités afin de mieux se prendre en charge. Je propose le reportage de Joël Essengé et de Guizogo. Et pas de ce reportage, on parle de l'Union générale des travailleurs du Cameroun qui entend d'ailleurs faire grève dès le 1er février prochain. Le préavis de grève adressé au Premier ministre, chef du gouvernement, parle donc de dénonciation de nombreuses violations des droits des travailleurs dans divers secteurs d'activité. C'est un autre reportage d'Emmanuel Diop et de Cyril que nous vous proposons à l'instant. Décidément, pas de ces différents reportages, mais nous y reviendrons dans nos prochaines éditions. Et c'est ainsi que nous mettons un terme à cette première session d'information, la version anglaise, bien entendu. Innocent Azé, vous comprenez bien qu'il y a quelques soucis.
Exactly, Flavio Valondongo. You know, we just have to take it the way it is, but just hoping that things will move on normally in this newscast. And we begin first of all with our lead stories. We told you in the headlines that about 10 people have died in a road accident. That's in 2 separate road accidents today, and that's on the national road number 3 linking Douala and Yaoundé. The first accident occurred this Sunday, January 17. At about 4:30 p.m. at a place called Ebombe 2 on the highway. Corpses of the 3 who died on the spot were deposited in a mortuary before 2 victims died later. Victims have been hospitalized. The accident involves a minibus and a red car. And on to the second accident that occurred still on the national road number 3. It is an interurban transport agency, Global Voyage. One of its buses collided with a vehicle, and no one has been able to explain how it occurred, but the 6 persons on board the small vehicle died on the spot, and their corpses have been retrieved and deposited in the mortuary. We talked something else away from accident. The socio-political crisis in the 2 English-speaking regions of the country continues to have adverse consequences on the population, and the group that has been adversely affected is the youth, and most of them are from Mukuru village, that's in Menchum Valley, Menchum division of the northwest region of the country. Not only them are affected, other youths in other communities are equally affected, and most of the Mukuru youths are now residing in Bonaberi Douala 4 subdivision. Most of them are IDPs, and there are ways in ensuring they have a better life due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the crisis that have displaced them. Details in the full report. Just like in other communities in the crisis-stricken Anglophone Cameroon, youths in Mukuru village in Menchum division of the northwest region are most affected by the 4-year-old armed conflict, with the COVID-19 pandemic adding salt to the injury.
Right now that I'm speaking to you, the youth of Mukuru are running away out of the village, of which most of them are having hectares of palms and cocos and the rest, but they can't sit there because of insecurity, because of innocent killing. And so many of them ran to Douala like IDPs, and they are unable to cope because of the difficulties like schooling, feeding, housing. All those things is very difficult for them. COVID-19 has come and worsened the issue that has made to even have what to eat, not to talk about the IDPs that are here.
More youths keep fleeing because of the unassuring security situation back home.
To be very frank with you, I'm unable to reach the village because of the crisis that is going on. The village is almost empty. They are burning houses down, bushes everywhere now. People are running out just because of the crisis. They had to kill one young guy, and the people had to start running again back out of the village.
Clustered and idle in their numbers in Bonaberi, Douala 4 subdivision, their siblings who form a block for all, Aku Youth and Development Association, Ayada Bonaberi with other branches in the Littoral region and Southwest region, today stand firm to wage war against the ramifications of these cankerworms eating deep their brothers and sisters.
We are coming up with this launching of uniforms and fundraising in order to see that we can raise some money to go into agriculture, to go into craftsmanship, to train some of the IDPs that are here in order for them to have some income generating activities so that they can have something to eat and they can have something to also feed their families and their children.
If the Ako youths battle to reshape lives of their kind, community leaders in Mukuru village and most especially the Cameroonian government must unfold arms to support initiatives and ensure their motherland and those of others in the northwest and southwest regions are prepared for their safe return.
The youth are pleading with the government to see how they can sit on the table to negotiate and bring peace to the northwest and southwest region. That also is going to affect the Moko village. We are also pleading that if the government can see into the aid, I can see into some of these our income generating activities that we are going into, like agriculture. We see how we can buy seed and the rest, and to see how we can also help the IDPs that are here, and to see how we can teach peace.
Since its creation in 2004, 12 years before the Anglophone crisis, the Ayada stands firm on the foundation of peace and patriotism. Munimba Council authorities are going for another election, this time to elect the second deputy mayor of that municipality, and being championed by the senior divisional officer. And Derry Jato was there and now tells us more.
This is my paper. Vote for me.
Why are these councillors of the Mundimba Council heading back to the poll for the election of the second deputy mayor 11 months after the municipal election?
The law on local collectivities and regional authorities was not well explained to the councillors before the election of the mayor.
The second deputy mayor, now former, fell short of the law number 2019/024 of 24 December 2019, instituting the regional and local code as spelled out in Chapter 2, Obligation of Residency, Section 144, subsection 1 and 2, which state that members of the executive of the local authority shall be bound to reside in the local authority headquarters. The obligation of residency here meant the obligation to effectively reside in the territory of the local authority, and that was absent in the case of the second deputy mayor of Mundimba. January 5, 2021, the supervisory authority of councils in Indian Division notified the appropriate quarters of the floors and called the attention of the mayor to convene an extraordinary session.
My dear honorable councillors,
and 10 days later, this is it, the extraordinary council session for the election of the second deputy mayor of the Mundimba Council, as backed by section 229, subsection 1 of the said code. And from among the councillors, 2 candidates went in for the election, and Mrs. Charity Mbenda was elected as the new second deputy mayor of the Mundimba Council.
I will support the mayor and the first deputy to see that the activities and the well-being of the municipality moves ahead smoothly.
I want to wish you the support of the supervisory authority. Of course, you are placed under the authority of the mayor.
The election was not only to fill this space, but also to fulfill the law.
Usmanu Daouda is the new divisional officer for Kongsamba 1 municipality. He was installed into his function recently by Yves Bertrand Jana, senior divisional officer for the Mungu division of the Littoral region, who reminded us the newcomer of numerous challenges ahead of him, like insecurity, urban disorder, juvenile delinquency, and many others, which he is expected to carefully and well handle to improve living conditions of the population. Usmanu Daouda, the new divisional officer, promises to work in collaboration with the locals to implant peace, tranquility, social cohesion, and pilot developmental projects. Mayor of Kongsamba 1, Umaru, thanked the outgoing divisional officer for the wonderful works he has realized, hoping the newcomer will continue from where he ended or do better. And in sports, Cameroon's intermediate lions are focused on preparing to go for another victory against Mali come Wednesday, January 20, to maintain their leadership position. That's in Group A of the CHAN 2021. Yesterday, the boys of Kosuntongo Pile defeated their counterpart, that is Zimbabwe, 1-0 to harvest 3 points. And following their equally another match that was played, the second match of Group A, that was between Mali and Burkina Faso, saw Mali defeating Burkina Faso 1-0 as well, clinching 3 points. But meantime, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon are topping the league, or are topping the group, that is, with 3 points, followed second by Mali with 3 points as well. And still on Wednesday, the losers Zimbabwe and Burkina Faso will have to clash with each other to see who goes home with 3 points. And meantime, second Group B match is ongoing at the Japoma Stadium. That's between. It is ongoing. The match is we'll be coming back to that. And Niger and Libya separated us in the first game, 0-0. That was a barren encounter this afternoon. And that's it for this 8 p.m. bilingual newscast on Equinox Television. Thanks so much for watching. Do have a splendid evening on Equinox Television. Florian Valondongo, bonsoir à vous.
Bonsoir, bonsoir à vous et bonsoir à nos chers téléspectateurs. Tout à l'heure, retrouvez dans un instant donc votre émission La Vérité en face, face au journaliste de talent Saint-Éloi Bidon dira sa part de vérité au cours de cette édition. Merci de rester sur Equinox. Bonsoir.
Comment était l'année pour vous?
Et ça, for this 2020, nothing on the waka.
Je sais que l'année a été difficile pour vous. Je suis venu vous donner la note de 20 sur 20. Appelez vos amis. J'ai 20 voitures à distribuer comme ça là. Ça, c'est 20 000. Je distribue 20 000 pour tout le monde, tous les 20 minutes. Sachez